We begin with the latest from Iran and the death toll from a massive explosion at Iran's largest commercial port town known as Shahid Rajaei Port near Bandar Abbas city has risen to 40, while over 1,000 others were injured. The explosion occurred on Sunday and triggered smaller explosions in nearby containers and fires that continued into Sunday. The Shahid Rajaei Port is one of Iran's most crucial maritime hubs, located on the northern shore of the Strait of Hormuz. Spanning 2,400 hectares, it is regarded as Iran's largest and busiest commercial port. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian flew to Bandar Abbas city to be briefed on the investigation and rescue operation. With choking smoke and air pollution spreading across the area, schools and offices in Bandar Abbas were ordered closed on Sunday. The health ministry urged residents to avoid going outside until further notice and use protective masks.
The announcement by the country's health ministry came after the passage of 42 days without a single case of the disease. The World Health Organization said 12 confirmed cases were registered and 4 deaths. 10 people recovered from the Sudan strain of the virus, whose outbreak was declared on January 30th. The variant has no licensed vaccine, but Ugandan officials authorized a clinical trial for one under development to be tried on health workers and contacts of cases. The outbreak was confirmed in Uganda's capital, Kampala, following the death of a male nurse. It was the 9th time Uganda has detected cases of Ebola. Most outbreaks have been swiftly brought under control. Ebola infections are frequent in Uganda, which has many tropical forests that are natural reservoirs for the virus. The first Ebola outbreak in Uganda was declared in 2000. The deadliest Ebola epidemic killed more than 10,000 people in West Africa between 2013 and 2016.
We are learning more about last night's deadly car attack in Vancouver, Canada. Officials say that death toll is now 11. Local officials say a car drove through an enclosed area just as a Filipino Heritage Festival was coming to an end. And besides those fatalities, dozens of other people were also hurt, taken to local hospitals. The driver of the car was taken into custody. Police say that driver is known to them, has a history of mental illness. They are not publicly identifying him right now because he's not yet been formally charged. But police are calling this an attack as an act of terrorism.
This is the darkest day in our city's history. Last night, as thousands of members of Vancouver's Filipino community gathered for an important cultural celebration, the actions of a single person shattered our collective sense of safety.
Officials have warned that the death toll could rise in the coming days.
More than 100 undocumented immigrants have been arrested in Colorado Springs. This is according to the Drug Enforcement Administration. It happened overnight when several federal agencies joined local law enforcement and raided a party at what the DEA is calling an underground nightclub. Those people who were allegedly in the country unlawfully have been turned over to ICE for likely eventual deportation. Your reporter Michael Abeda explains hundreds of people were at this party, including some active military personnel.
The DEA says there was a wide group of people at this event allegedly doing things that are illegal.
Occupants of 296 South Academy
Early Sunday morning, a coalition of 10 federal agencies, Colorado Springs Police, and the El Paso County Sheriff's Department raided what they're calling an illegal nightclub in the southeastern part of Colorado Springs.
What was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there.
They say there were more than 200 people in the building, including more than 100 undocumented immigrants and more than a dozen active duty military service members who were either working as armed security or involved in committing crimes. The DEA says they've had their eye on this illegal nightclub for a while.
We've been working on this underground nightclub for a number of months, doing undercover, surveillance, a lot of other work to identify what's going on here.
The undocumented immigrants were taken into ICE custody. Some other non-immigrants were taken into custody on outstanding warrants. Colorado Springs Police says they are investigating and criminal violations are expected. As for the active duty military members, the Army Criminal Investigation Division was present for the raid and is part of the investigation. A Fort Carson spokesperson says active members are allowed to have outside employment as long as it is approved, but they don't know if anyone working Sunday morning was approved. Either way, the DEA says this operation was about keeping Colorado's community safe.
Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer city this Sunday morning.
Now, according to Colorado law, local law enforcement cannot participate in ICE raids, so Colorado Springs police are only investigating the possible crimes that may have occurred. In Centennial, Mike Alaveta, covering Colorado First.
And this is just the latest in a number of DEA raids that have led to ICE arrests in our state so far this year. Today's raid was the largest in Colorado since one led to nearly 50 arrests north of Denver back in January. 40 of those people did not have documentation, according to DEA officials. And we do have a crew in Colorado Springs as we continue to follow this developing story, and we'll have much more for you tonight on CBS News Colorado at 10.
The World Food Programme says its warehouses in Gaza now sit empty after delivering the last of its food stocks to charity kitchens. It said those kitchens too are expected to run out of food in the coming days. Even shops and markets have no more food to sell as an Israeli blockade enters its third week.
The World Food Programme food supplies for our core food assistance program within Gaza are fully depleted. Since the 2nd of March, no humanitarian or commercial goods have entered, and our capacity to respond continues to decline. The 25 bakeries we used to support across Gaza Strip, serving 800,000 people, are no longer operational, and food parcels, so core to our program, intended to reach half of the population in Gaza, have been fully distributed. Our remaining stocks were directed to hot meal kitchen, which are continuing to serve people in need, but these too are expected to run out by the end of the month. Sadly, this covers only 25% of the overall people food needs. The closure has been ongoing for more than 50 days. If the context remains unchanged, WFP's critical lifeline assistance may be forced to end. To meet the basic needs of population in Gaza, it is critical that we are able to resume food deliveries into Gaza immediately.
Rights groups have called the blockade a starvation tactic and a war crime. The International Court of Justice has referred to Israel's actions in Gaza as a plausible genocide.
I said to President Trump that I hope that this is what the negotiators will do. We're in close contact with the United States. But I said one way or the other, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. The way to prevent it is to dismantle all the infrastructure of Iran's nuclear program. I think we should bring in the ballistic missiles, the prevention of the development of ballistic missiles into the deal. I think these are the two requirements. I said to President Trump that I hope that this is what the negotiators will do. We're in close contact with the United States. But I said one way or the other, Iran will not have nuclear weapons. The way to prevent it is to dismantle all the infrastructure of Iran's nuclear program. The only good deal that works is a deal like the one that was made with Libya that removed all the infrastructure.